Happy New Day, CSA.
Happy New Day, Reverend.
How feels each and every one of you this wonderful, lovely new day?
Awake and ready.
How feels wonderful, beautiful, handsome, enlightened, and fantastically prosperous and healthy you this wonderful, lovely new day?
Awake and ready.
Well, I welcome all of you with so much love to today's program. You know, I know most of you have heard of Krishna Das. We play his music here, and Ram Das, who wrote the book Be Here and Now. They went, Ram Das went to India and he met his guru named Karoli Baba. They called him Maharaji. And he came back with a story that after being there, he asked him to summarize his teaching, and he said, love people, serve people, and remember God always. And that is our theme for today. Love people, serve people, and remember God always. You know, when they ask you to love someone, what are they asking you to do? They say, look beyond the physical and beyond the person's mind to the center of his or her being and behold the life that he is, and respect that. You can attract and elevate that if you are more enlightened, but you can desire to see the presence of God in all those you meet. And in India, they have a greeting which is like this, Namaste, and it says, I behold your Christ nature. Namaste. So love people is to respect and see them as you see yourself. If you know yourself as a spiritual being, you will see others also as the same. You know, sometimes you go in town and you see people and you begin to judge them. You begin to think, I'm better than these people. But what makes you better than them? Is it the clothes you wear, or the part of the country you come from, or what? All of us, bar none, has the essence of God as their lives. And when you see that aspect of that person and you respect that, your relationship with that person takes on a new meaning. You know, yesterday I went to the marriage ceremony of one of my staff members, and from there I went to Agbobloshi Market for some yams which a former Kayo friend, her name is Sadia, had bought from the north for me. She was a lady that we found at the market, and even though she has not been to school before, she is what I'll call street smart. And eventually she decided to go back to where she came from in the north. And when she got there, she sent yams and other things to us. And so from time to time, I send her money to buy yams for us. And yesterday, when, normally she will let them write my telephone number on the sack. And then when the car gets to Accra, the people will call. But yesterday, the people did not call. She called another friend of hers who told her that the bus has arrived. And I waited all day. The guys did not call me. And I went to the place where I've been going to receive the yam. And then I called her, I asked her, and then she said, well, if I can get anyone who speaks Dagomba, she will speak with the person on the phone. So then she did speak with the first person I approached, and the person took me to a place. And when I got there, I asked the guy, look, I have some yams here, but I have my telephone number written on it. And he said, what is the last two numbers? I said 81. He said, here. And then he picked the yam. So when I finished, I called Sadia and I said, Mami Sadia, when I went, the yams were there. And he said, these guys, they smoke we are, that they are. And I said, don't worry. Whatever they do, they have been able to give me the yams. Thank you. So on the way, I was telling my brother what Sadia said. And he sat down and he said, look, I don't like people judging others. Maybe this person you say is smoking weed, smokes weed, but you also may be judging him without knowing what his essence is. And I said, that is why I'm mentioning it to you. You see, we sometimes think, oh, because I don't drink, if I see someone who is drunk, he's a bad person. But maybe that person does not steal. That person does not covet. His only reason being that he is drunk as a skunk. But you look at yourself and tell me how you have nurtured your mind and your emotions. How have you nurtured them in respect to relating with people? Do you cheat them? Do you envy them? Do you wish you had their money? You can wish to have money, but you shouldn't wish to have someone else's money. I remember I'm on a certain WhatsApp platform, and the first time I met, it's an international platform. The first time I met some of the members in Ghana, in Accra, and I told them where I live. They said, oh, your house, we know that. We have been claiming your house always. And I said, if you have been claiming my house, does it belong to you now? I said, that house will never belong to you. And I told them, I can give you the plan to build the same thing if you want to. But that place, I have not made up my mind to sell it. And so even if you want to sell it, if you want to buy it, it's not for sale. And I still live in my house. I will never tell them, offer it to them for sale. You see, sometimes some people hear some teachings and they don't understand the essence of the teaching, and they start behaving in certain ways. You see someone's house, they have told you one of the commandments is thou shalt not covet whatever anyone has. You see someone's house and you say, I claim this house and this house belongs to me. I mean, that is a wrong way of thinking. You see, if you look at it and you examine it closely according to the Ten Commandments, that person is coveting. You see someone's house and you say, I claim it. Then you should go and tell the person to give you the title to the house. You see, when you love people, look at the essence of their lives. That is number one. And respect that as you feel you must be respected. Most oftentimes when they ask us to love people, doesn't mean go and see them and kiss them and hug them. No. But show them respect. Recognize that the essence of their being is the same as you. You see, the Akans have a word for sibling, minueni, and we have corrupted and made it minua. Minua has no meaning, but minueni, you recognize the meaning of minueni, and so when you see a person and you know minueni, will you cheat that person? You wouldn't cheat that person. You wouldn't want to hurt that person. And so that is why Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. Because your neighbor is no other than you expressed. You always go out to meet yourself. And also, a lot of people will not serve their neighbor, but will say, I'm going to serve God. Well, God is expressing as your neighbor. The same life that is in you is the same life in your neighbor. And so serve your neighbor and do so with kindness. You know, sometimes some people think that maybe I'm a fool. I have a very generous heart. And if I see someone in need, I do my best to fulfill it if I have the means. But sometimes I can tell, I can read the person from where he or she is thinking from that, oh, this guy, I think he has more than I do have, and so I'll find ways of tricking him to give me money all the time. That is where you find the tough love side of me. I'll tell you, I won't give you. It's my money, it's not your money. You understand? And so, what you need to do is serve people. Look, when you come to where I work at HealthWorks, you never know the boss from the worker. When you come and they ask me to see to you, I come, I greet you, hello, how are you? And I work on you with all my heart. Because of that, a lot of people have formed some bond with a lot of people. When they don't see me, they don't come there. I recently had a client and I asked him, my brother is Lebanese. I asked him, my brother, how long have I known you? He said, oh, let me see. In the early 90s. And I said, wow. And then he reminded me of the person who introduced him to me. And he said, yeah, from that time onwards, I've been coming to see you. And then he told me he was going to Jeddah in Saudi Arabia on Friday. He was going to Greece to be with his family, and then they move on to Jeddah. And I said, well, when you get to Mecca and you pray for me. He said, oh, I always pray for you. It will not only be in Mecca that I'll pray for you, but I'll pray for you also in Mecca. But when I'm home, every day I'm praying, I pray for you. I know you love people, so when I pray for you. I said, oh, thank you. It is not his prayers which will do anything for me, but the fact that he does that out of a sense of gratitude. he is giving God the thanks that he met someone like me who solves or who makes a part of his life okay. You see, when you serve people, your actions towards them must uplift them. In your interactions with people, you know you have served that person when you give that person more value than what he gives you. If you give him a battery and the battery works so well, and the amount of money you took from him or her is less than the value of the service that the battery will give him, you have served him well. You see, we had some roofers who came to roof this building, and this building sometimes, when it rains very hard, you see that there is some leakage. And I encountered him on WhatsApp, on Facebook, and I sent him a message on Messenger. I said, look, the leakage which you came to repair the last time, you didn't repair it well. There is still some leakage. He said, oh, I'm working around here. I'll come. No, he has not come. You see? And when he comes, I will not ask him to do the work for me free. But he thinks that because it is fault, he has to do it for free. And so I won't come. He starts dodging. But he doesn't know that he's just doing something which will make him miss his good. And so that is how a lot of people grow poor. Because in their actions with people, they are thinking of skipping and missing with their responsibility of giving. And it is in giving, they say, give, and ye shall be given, good measure, pressed down, and running over, shall men give unto you. See, whenever you have the opportunity to give as if there is nothing at stake. Give from your heart. And in serving people, when you meet them, know that this is God coming to me as the person. Now, how would you serve God if you meet God? How would you serve God? Won't you serve God very, very well? Yeah, so start with your neighbor. Serve your neighbor very. Look, whenever you get the opportunity to serve that person. Know that that person is your king or queen. Serve them very, very well. And in doing that, a lot of avenues will be open to you. You see, and don't also think that you are giving so much so that you may receive. You are giving because it is your duty to give, because you are a life-giving spirit made in the image and likeness of God. That is why you must give with all of your heart and with all of your strength. Whenever there is an opportunity for you to give, don't hold back. Life is offering you an opportunity to serve. You see, whenever you see a challenge, don't look upon the challenge as a challenge. See the challenge as an opportunity that life has given to you. You know, last Thursday and some other days, I was giving the class and I was talking about the sanitary the state of sanitation in a certain country, and I couldn't remember the name of the country, but I knew that it was a country with the same name as its city. The city and the country, the same name. And so when we went into meditation after this thing, my attention, I said, well, what's the name of this country? And my attention went in. When I reached the field of infinite possibilities, boom, the name of it was Singapore. And so immediately we came out, I told the class member, I said, that place is Singapore. Everything, all possibilities are within you. And whenever you are faced with a challenge, don't panic. Just because when you panic, you ruffle the surface of the mind. You are not able to go deeper into the mind. Relax, and whatever the answer will float to the surface of your mind. You do this whenever you want to remember anything and you can't remember it. Just go inside and rest in the field of possibility, infinite possibilities. And that is why it is said that with God, all things are possible. With God, if you are assured of, or you are feeling your oneness with God, there is nothing that is impossible to you. Everything is possible. And so, from now, when there is a difficulty in your life, others can support you in whatever way, but know that it is possible for you to be, do, and have whatever it is that you want to be, you want to do, and you want to have. And when you emboss this in your mind, you'll be a walking Superman. And then remembering God always. You see, when Jesus said, "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all your mind, with all your soul, and with all your strength, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." You see, one saint said that God, Christ, and Guru, they are all the same. I remember when my Guru, Roy Jean Davis, went to Japan, and I had a question which I needed an answer to. The answer came with this knowing that, look, Roy is not the body. Roy is a state of consciousness. And if you tune into that higher state of consciousness, you may never have to ask him a question anymore. And because that is where he also expresses from. Look, you see me, you think I have all the knowledge in the world. If I may have all the knowledge in the world, it may mean that my consciousness, I always merge with the state of consciousness which is the infinite, or which is infinite, the infinite field of consciousness, which is the realm of all possibilities. And so, let us all do our best to let our attention, look, you sit down and you ask yourself, when you sit down to meditate, just ask yourself, how would it be if I was enlightened, if I'm enlightened? How would it be if I'm enlightened? That can reveal to you the state of infinite bliss, infinite knowing, and infinite being. You cannot miss that. And so, in remembering God, always see God as the people you meet. Serve God in and as the people you meet. And when you sit, remember that God is the essence of your being. You see, one day a student went to his master, and as he was sitting down, the master said, God is all there is. And the student asked, so you mean God is me? He said, everything that you see is God in expression. He said, So he took that. Then a few days later, the guy went to the marketplace, and as he was going, he saw people running, and they were telling him, look, turn back. There is an elephant which has gone crazy and is trampling upon everything and everyone that comes his way. He said, oh, God is everything, so God is all there is, so I will not even meet an elephant. And then as he got closer to the marketplace, he heard noise, and he saw a man sitting on the elephant, waving and shouting, look, get out of this elephant's way, it's crazy. I'm also trying to find a way to jump off it, but I want to jump off it in such a way that it will not be able to trample me with his foot. The guy did not listen to him, and eventually the animal just kicked him and used his trunk to hit him, and he was all bruised. And he became angry with the spiritual master. He said, this man has taught me he has given me a useless teaching, telling me that God is all there is. So he went into the meditation room where his master teaches, and he sat, and his eyes were fixed on the master. Immediately they finished meditating, he raised his hand, and the master said, what? And he said, what kind of stupid teaching did you teach us? And he said, what kind of stupid teaching? He said, you said God is all there is. And the master said, yes, God is all there is. And he said, then why did the elephant trample me on his foot? And he said, when God came running, telling you that it has, as the elephant was crazy, did you listen to God? He said, no. He said, when God was sitting on top of the elephant, tell you that this elephant has gone crazy, God has gone crazy as the elephant, did you listen to him? He said, and then he said, so what happened? He said, the elephant trampled upon me. He said, well, God does all these things. And your average Christian fundamentalist will say, but when such a person asks you, tell him that in the book of Isaiah, he says, I'm the Lord, and there is none else beside me. I make peace and create evil. I form the light and create darkness. I, the Lord, do all these things. Okay? So if you go crazy, then God has gone crazy as you. You understand? And how would you like to be treated when you are crazy? That is why I said, when you love people, you behold the essence of their being and respect that. Act respectfully with the essence of people's being. And you will see that even though people may try to hoodwink you, you will know what is on their mind before they hoodwink you. And today, I've shown you the essence of one person who awakened to his oneness with God, and when his students ask him to encapsulate summarized his teaching to them. He said, love people, serve people, and remember God always. Namaste.